Von Fry, legendary badass, not shy, telling you how it is, Von Fry will die.
Alright, so, the Lone Ranger Rant review. By now, you guys know the formula. This movie was so convoluted and had so many scenes jam-packed full of action, gravitas, what have you, that I can't really keep it all straight, so I'm going to have to deviate from the norm just a little bit. Before I get into this, let me just say that I did enjoy the film. There's going to be some spoilers, but first, because this was right before the 4th of July, I have to talk about some of the ongoings in my theater. I show up about 30 minutes early at the Warren 13th Street Theater in Wichita, Kansas. Now, this is a theater owned by this guy, Bill Warren, who, in Kansas terms, is a little eccentric. This is a guy who tried to run for mayor of Wichita, I believe. Or maybe it was governor. It's probably mayor, whatever. And he wanted to put advertisements for his own campaign in the movie theater and make everybody who wanted to see a movie see his campaign commercial. Now, the problem with this is he's the only guy in town who owns any movie theaters. They're all his. They're all named after him. He's got his surname, Warren, all over the place. Now, this guy, 10 minutes before 8 o'clock, when the Lone Ranger is supposed to start, and it's 3/4 of the way full crowd. Not a highly advertised special opening. 8 o'clock is a little weird. Usually expect kind of a midnight thing. Everybody heard it was going to be July 3rd, but no, July 2nd, 8 o'clock. 10 minutes before the big show, we get some of the strangest stuff I've ever seen. Now, this guy usually has his special golden age of Hollywood nostalgic look, promotion for his lounge, little trinkets here and there. Tries to have a big grandiose swooping in CGI shot of the whole place, telling you not to text and all this stuff. But this time, the voice of the theater comes on, and this is this voiceover guy who, hey, this is your voice of the theater, telling you to check out all that. And every once in a while it changes for timely events. Oh, and they're going into July 4th weekend. It goes on and on. We like to, at the Warren, tell you a little bit about the 4th of July. So then they give us the history in a couple minutes. It's like, and then on July 4th, and then signed into and it's like, okay, we signed up for the history lesson, I guess, when I bought the ticket to the Lone Ranger. Then it gets a little bit weirder, and I kind of like it, because we go into this zone where the American flag is put on over the curtains, projected, and it says, we like to acknowledge great Americans such as John Wayne, who and said this of the country. And it goes on to this speech, and it was a pretty good speech, and you can't really knock John Wayne for saying some good lines and stuff. Now, did he come up with them? I don't know. I honestly don't even know where the speech came from. It's like, you ask her why I love her? Well, have you ever been to the plains of Kansas? It's like, okay, at least you mentioned Kansas. This makes it a little bit relevant as we're in Kansas. And it goes on for a few minutes. Then we get the curtains raise. The flag is still waving. This giant projection of the flag is still waving. And we get the Pledge of Allegiance. And people stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, sung by like a boys' choir who is doing like their own little Mariah Carey spin. They got their flourish at the end. How they did this? It was like one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For all. It wasn't the exact lines. They were being repeated for music's sake. There are people who were standing. I might have been one of 3 who didn't, because it's not a real flag. It's a projection of a flag, and it's just a bit weird. I've heard of sporting events starting with the national anthem, but not the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm probably going to see this again because my folks want to go see Star Trek II, The Wrath of whatever the hell they're calling it, Abrams style. They want to see that on the 4th of July, so I'm sure we're going to get another dose. Now, let's talk about the Lone Ranger. Again, so much going on, I can't really keep it straight. It was good. It was to the formula that you expect out of these guys. You got a lot of the crew and cast from Pirates of the Caribbean, and they deliver that same kind of thing. Gore Verbinski is Disney's go-to guy for live-action film because he gets it right in the way that there's just enough violence, just enough chaos, and just enough strangeness going on to engage the adults and the kids of all ages and all this stuff. And it works pretty well in that way. We start out with this little boy in the 1930s, San Francisco. You're thinking that's a bit weird. And he goes into this like sideshow by this Ferris wheel, and he goes inside and it's like, come on, learn about American history, something, whatever, the Wild West. Yeah, just for you, kid. He's got the Lone Ranger mask on, and he goes inside and he's looking around at some stuff. He's just a quiet little boy, and he sees this wild buffalo stuffed. And then he sees this Native American, the noble savage or something like that, and it's showing this old guy, like really ancient, holding up like an axe, and it's Johnny Depp and old person guys. I think it's Johnny Depp in makeup. If this is Johnny Depp in old person makeup, this is old person makeup done right in all the ways that Guy Pearce's Prometheus was just done all kinds of wrong. What was it, Mr. Wayland? So he goes and tells the kid, "Oh, hey, it's Kemosabe over here." And, "Oh, why are you calling me that?" "Oh, you're the Lone Ranger. I told you to wear the mask." And it's like, "What? No, it's not." "All right, well, tell the story." So we get the big framing device here. He tells the story about how they robbed a bank. It's like, wait a minute, you guys robbed a bank? "Well, sometimes you have to do bad to be good," or something like this. And I was working on my Johnny Depp voice in the car and actually had it down pretty good, but whatever. So he's telling the whole story of the origin of the Lone Ranger, and we got this guy coming in to Colby, Texas, by rail, and he's just a quaint lawyer guy. And on the same train, we have this dastardly guy. Man, I can't even remember his name. Bad guy, William, played by William Fichtner, who is, I believe, Shredder in the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He even has a show that just started on NBC. What was it called? Like Closing Lines or something like this, and Crossing Lines, I think it's called. And he's a journeyman. He's underrated. You can get him cheap. If I was making a movie, I'd put him in it, because he's also in some big stuff, so it's not necessarily a bomb if you put him in there. So, he's the bad guy. He's out to be executed when they get to the stop, but there's guys on board who help him out, traders and stuff. They planted a gun. He's actually chained next to Tonto, who, of course, the Johnny Depp, and now he's much younger, because this is in the 1800s past and stuff. And chaos ensues. The guy who, Army Hammer, who is the Lone Ranger, I think his name is John here. He's just a lawyer. He gets mixed up in this. Ends up with Tonto on top of the train. There's all kinds of chaos, but he's saved by his older brother Dan, who is like a Texas Ranger, and he's got his posse, and they save the day somewhat. Tonto gets to escape, but they end up capturing him anyways. The good guys do. The bad guy, though, he did go off. He went off into Monument Valley, for all I could tell. I think it actually was, but it's in Texas now. So, anyways, they get a little bit of a talk. They a little bit of a briefing. They catch up with the lady in the movie, who's played by an actress I don't even know at all. And that's fine, because I like the old days when someone became a movie star for being in a hit film, instead of the way it is mostly today, where you have to be a movie star to be in a blockbuster, and that's kind of unfortunate. But anyways, it turns out she's old flame of the lawyer guy, whose older brother is the Texas Ranger and all this. Well, the Texas Ranger guy, Dan, he wants to form a posse and go looking for Shredder. Hell, I'm just going to call him Shredder, okay? So he wants to go form posse, look for Shredder, and he says, you know, I'm going to need someone to help me out. Little brother, you're coming with. So now, all of a sudden, lawyer guy who doesn't fire guns and all this stuff is with the posse looking for the worst guy in, like, all the Old West and shit. Bear with me. They head out into the valley, and they're ambushed. One of them's a traitor. Everybody gets shot up. Everybody gets shot. It's looking bad for everybody. John, the lawyer, Army Hammer, looks like he's shot dead. His brother's getting shot a whole bunch. And here coming down is the bandits. You know, we got Shredder leading the way. And he goes in, and it's like an off-camera. We're going for the PG-13, but something bad's happening. It looks like he stabs him in the gut. Stabs old Ranger in the gut, like in the lower torso, and it's like, okay, he said he was cutting something out of him. He's going to cut into him, and he starts seemingly eating something, an organ. Like, what was he going for, a liver? It's revealed later they took his heart out and ate it. Now, I've seen this done more convincingly in a even less squeamish way in a movie called The Last of the Mohicans. So, you know, the Lone Ranger guy, he witnessed some of this, but he's like passing in and out. Tonto comes down, and you know, he sees all the carnage. He digs some graves. He's in the process of burying everybody, and then all of a sudden, oh, this guy's still alive. Well, he conks him on the head because he had a bad rendezvous with him. He thinks of him as the wrong brother, and they later say that's what Kimosabi means. So that was kind of cool. I like the little winks with the unique interpretations put on them. Now, I don't really know the history of the Lone Ranger, so maybe if the mythos is rearranged, it doesn't affect me so much. Now, I didn't look at this as like some shameless reboot. I don't recall the Lone Ranger really having a film series, especially of late, or being known for that. No, it's more of a radio show and a television series, and you have some familiar things that do come back. So they sprinkle certain things in here and there. There's a spirit horse that comes by, and it's like, no, you want to give the white hat, the nice white hat. I want to hang out with this guy you're digging the grave of. And it's like, no, that's the wrong brother. That one's an idiot. You want this one. That's the brave warrior. He died, and that's the spirit you want to be with. And it's like, no, this guy. And it's like, okay, fine, spirit horse, if you insist. Well, he takes the guy out. He performs some ceremony on him, not before dragging him through spirit horse crap, and then putting him way up high on some elevated scaffolding for a resurrection ceremony that is glossed over entirely, because this is a 2.5-hour movie, and they must have edited something out somewhere. I don't know how he got off of this, how he got on there, why he needed to be there in the first place, if just for a helicopter shot to look cool. And so Tonto's like, okay, you know, you're a bum and all this stuff, but I've made some stuff for you. Maybe you can be a great warrior. The horse says you will, whatever. This is a mask. It's made from your brother's vest, and it's going to be really cool. You know, I'm going after this bad guy that was on the train, and you got in the way and all this stuff. But you know, they have a bonding story, and it's a revenge tale. I want to kill him because he killed my brother. You know, we got to help each other out over here, and a redemption story at the same time. And Tonto goes into this mode where it's showing his history, and I mean, really, there was so much going on in this movie. I can't recall every bit of it, so I'm getting to some more of the essentials. Tonto's history with the guy, how they found silver in the lake where his people lived, the beginning of the river and stuff like this. And so he wants revenge. They killed his pet bird even that he wears on his head and occasionally feeds. He's like sprinkling stuff throughout the whole movie. He's got like sawdust or peanut chips or something. And yeah, I know my hair's not that awesome right now, but they're bringing us a different kind of flavor, and it's got some laughs. It got some good laughs from the crowd. The bad guy. It turns out that actually, spoilers, okay, heavy spoilers, right? His brother is the guy setting up the railroad who's going to get rich off this silver lode coming down the mountains and stuff. And it's taken them X number of time to get to this and whatever. I don't know his whole plan to actually buy out the company, if it would have actually have held up in a court of law, whatever. There's numerous train-related scenes of total carnage, like mayhem galore, horses on trains. And the visual effects don't look spot on 100% verbatim, and nothing really does these days, even when you look at it with much scrutiny at home on HD streaming on Netflix. I can tell that the Hulk didn't look as good as my imagination was telling me when I was watching it a year ago on a crappiest projection in Oklahoma City. But anyways, I thought most of it looked pretty good. Some of it, suspect. You're not always going to get that. There is numerous animals. CGI buffalo, which I've seen real buffalo. Bison, as they're actually called. And so to me, that sticks out. Now, if you haven't seen numbers of them, maybe it doesn't bother you so much. You know, it's like I say, I commend anybody who uses a real helicopter because we've seen real helicopters. If you use CGI helicopters in a film, they stick out because real helicopters exist. Now, there's CGI bunny rabbits that eat things, that eat other bunny rabbits. I don't know if bunny rabbits go around eating meat. I don't know if CGI scorpions should look the way they do in this, or if CGI bunny rabbits can eat CGI scorpions. I don't know. However, you know, it ran along at a pretty good clip. We slowed down to talk to people and explore situations. There are Native Americans in this film, and I think this movie's ending up on the shit list of a lot of critics because they look at Johnny Depp and they say, white guy playing a Native American. Of course, you don't put a white guy in blackface unless it's going to be for certain movie effect, like in Tropic Thunder. To this I say, look, they tried to go PC about this by having him inducted into the Comanche tribe by a woman, and they had a ceremony and whatever, so he's like adopted and stuff. And so in their eyes, he's one of them, okay? Give him that at least. I don't think it's necessarily Johnny Depp's wrongdoing here. You guys who would bash a film for using a white guy as a Native American would be the same people who would not see it because an unfamous guy is in the role. You have Armie Hammer leading your blockbuster? Really? I don't think Disney's going to do that. You gotta put Johnny Depp in there in order for it to get anywhere, because stupid Americans will see a movie based on who's in it, not what it's about or the merits of the filmmaker. In this case, Gore Verbinski, come on, give him some credit for The Ring. Mouse Hunt if you have to. And definitely, you got to be looking at Pirates of the Caribbean as a turning point, or at least in the way that Disney does business of late. So, I expected this to be the best movie of the summer. And, you know, I thought Prometheus was going to be the best movie last year. I was horribly, horribly wrong about that. But so far, this seems pretty pleasing to me. You know, a lot of guys get their comeuppance. There are numerous deaths, a lot of arrows shot into things, and people who survive stuff they probably shouldn't. It doesn't get entirely mythical, but, you know, if you want to believe in some Native American spirituality stuff that's brought up in the film, it leaves the door open for you. There's a few good jokes here and there. Super props for incorporating the William Tell Overture as essentially the theme song for the movie. The last 15 minutes, when the carnage really hits, it's like, you know, they got the great train robbery stuff going, and they've got Buster Keaton antics, all of the general. There's William Tell Overture 100% of the way. They even throw in Hi-Ho Silver Away, and then at the very end of the movie, as they're buddy up and they're ready for the next adventure, it's like, Hi-Ho Silver Away, as he's trying to come up with his name. I think they don't even actually call him the Lone Ranger. And Johnny Depp's like, don't ever say that again. And, there were good laughs everywhere. It's 2.5 hours long, and so it's a little exhausting. I think that the plot of the movie, which I really didn't get into as far as it goes, because there was just so much stuff with backstabbing and everything, and setups, but it pays off. It's convoluted for a purpose. Like Pirates of the Caribbean, there's enough backstory and history and changes, the characters evolve so that adult audiences can be engaged. If not, then you get to write it off as just some schlock that's just another one of them stupid movies. You can't really say that about this, but I'll tell you, everybody, all those critics who are ready to shit on this, they're going to be in this, and they're going to say, oh, well, it was such a mess and all this stuff, when actually they're saying Johnny Depp shouldn't be playing Tonto, and they're going to go at it for that one reason and try to nitpick everything else to build a case against it that just really doesn't hold up. I can't really complain too much about what actually happens in the movie. It looks good. There are moments where flashbacks look like The Ring, actually, and it kind of scared me a little bit. Okay, if I do want to complain about something, the Lone Ranger himself has very little gun experience, doesn't want to use guns. For all I can tell, probably shouldn't even be a good shot, shouldn't be able to ride a horse so well. He looks like he isn't accustomed to it. His death brought back to life moment happens, and then all of a sudden he's an ultimate badass. Now, there are things that could have happened that they showed at the end of the movie. There are little bonding moments that probably could have happened towards the early middle training montage, for one, to get him up to speed, because really he's like the ultimate horseman and everything in the movie without any training whatsoever. Is that really the right way that should go? I guess that's really my complaint. You got a strong female, Helena Bonham Carter, who I don't really need to see in any more movies, but for some reason, if Johnny Depp's there, she gets tagged along also. She's doing her sassy thing too, but it doesn't make any group look bad. I mean, there's even some jokes at the expense of white people told by Johnny Depp to some Chinese people, and so they're even brought into it, which is historically accurate. Working on the railroad, sure. Overall, yeah, I did like the movie. I'd give it 3 out of 4 stars.
Do 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 do.